Hello, I'm Captain Mike Bland, the Commanding Officer of Media Relations Division. I would like to take a few minutes to discuss an important legal update concerning a preliminary injunction issued by Judge Hernan Vera regarding Penal Code Section 419.7. Penal Code Section 419.7 allows a duly authorized representative of the media to enter or remain in an area closed by police at a protest, demonstration, rally, or where people are gathered primarily to engage in any activity protected by the First Amendment. When a dispersal order is issued, Penal Code Section 409.7 exempts members of the media from the order. Members of the media can lawfully remain in the area to gather and receive information and are not to be detained, cited, or arrested for failing to disperse, violating a curfew, or violating Penal Code Section 148A1 for gathering, receiving, or processing information.
Media, 409.7 PC says that we have to grant duly authorized members of the media access behind our line. Here's what I will tell you. Tell all your officers today that if somebody comes up to them and says, hey, I'm a member of the media, you need to grant me press privileges behind your line. We can't expect credentials, but what we can absolutely do is recommend to one of you guys, a supervisor, and use your absolute best judgment. Assess the actions, the intent, and the demeanor of that individual to determine if we are going to grant them press privileges. If I'm wearing inflammatory clothing, something like shoot film, not people, you've seen that one, right? If I'm engaged in the protest, if I obstruct lawful police action by getting in front of your skirmish line and saying I'm pressed and causing you to halt the line, or if I'm engaging your officers in an adversarial manner, those are circumstances in which we may need to assess that we are not going to grant them press privileges and deny it. Report it, narrate it, protect yourself and protect your officers on that. But please, you guys as supervisors need to be the ones to deal with that media piece.
The preliminary injunction prohibits department personnel from interfering with the rights of journalists to cover a protest or retaliating against journalists for engaging in such coverage by using force against them, arresting, citing, or detaining them. However, Penal Code Section 409.7 and the preliminary injunction do not prevent a law enforcement officer from enforcing other laws if the person is engaged in unlawful activity. When officers close an immediate area to establish a police line, skirmish line, or other rolling closure at any demonstration, march, protest, rally, or where individuals are primarily engaged in any activity protected by the First Amendment, officers must adhere to the following principles. Officers shall not intentionally assault, interfere with, or obstruct any duly authorized representatives of the media who are gathering, receiving, or processing information for communication to the public. This includes restricting journalists to areas from which they do not have sufficient opportunity to observe and report on protests, including the interaction between police and protesters. Officers are prohibited from restricting journalists from entering or remaining in closed areas unless access will interfere with emergency operations, in which case they may be denied access only to such an extent as is necessary to prevent actual interference. The department may restrict access to areas where tactical and logistical discussions are taking place, as well as restricting access to crime scenes. Although the area behind police lines with personnel and vehicles are considered critical areas for tactical discussions regarding planning, tactical strategies, and force authorizations, it is important that when tactically and logistically feasible, officers should consider providing other location options for media, such as allowing media to use the sidewalks or remain behind the skirmish line at a reasonable distance from the officers and supervisors. During crowd-related situations, it is important to remember that crime scenes may look different than they do in normal day-to-day patrol operations. Mass arrest circles constitute inner perimeter crime scenes. Officers should advise members of the media to exit the inner perimeter. If members of the media refuse to voluntarily exit, officers should escort media out of the inner perimeter, but media should not be arrested if they were not involved in lawful activity.
No, she's not pressed. She's not pressed. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're gonna antagonize it. I see you. You're not pressed.
When officers are approached by a person claiming to be a member of the media during crowd control situations, officers should consider the following in determining whether the person reasonably appears to be a member of the media.
Where do you disseminate information?
I'm an independent journalist, but I work with Fox. I was live with Tracy Gallagher about 20 minutes ago.
Do you have any other type of press ID, anything that?
I just have this one.
This doesn't.
I know, I have this one.
It's
a media company.
All right, what do you have in your bag?
In my bag, I have mics.
We're gonna make
I have
sure
extra-
that you don't have anything that's prohibited. Where's your identification?
I'm independent, sir.
Independent, who do you stream for?
Kick.com.
For what?
Kick.com. They sponsor that one.
Where do you disseminate the information?
Submit the information. I mean, it's not paid. It's not commercialized. It's just independent. And then on the website, I can show you.
Where's your ID? Pull it up, show it up, sir.
Just so you know, I'm not going to cause any instruction or cause
What's your
any.
last, wait, hold on. What do you,
New Times?
here, I can't see you. Alright. Who is it for, New York Times?
Yes.
You have the letter as well, or? Who made those letters?
My editor, Christine Chan.
Yeah, what's that? Is that?
Oh, because I searched it in my phone, this is a screenshot.
Do you have ID on you?
Yeah.
That's your name?
Yeah.
You work for New York Times?
I'm a freelancer for the New York Times.
Individuals carrying professional gear such as photographic equipment and wearing distinctive clothing that identifies the individual as a member of the media, and the person is not engaging in protest activities. Camera crews and photographers would be considered journalists as their presence is necessary to make a report. Mere verbalization or declaration of a person that they are a member of the media does not grant access as a duly authorized media member.
And there's an NBC crew that wants to go through this way, they want to get into the crowd, so they're coming up behind us. So sorry. Well, no worries, no worries. One last for the day. Good luck, guys. Hey, good luck, guys.
The court has directed that at any protest to which LAPD deploys, the department shall appoint at least one member of the department at the rank of lieutenant or above, whose primary assignment shall be to ensure compliance with the terms of this order and the department's legal obligations as to journalists. When an officer is not able to make a determination, they should, when tactically feasible, request a lieutenant to make an objectively reasonable determination whether the person will be allowed into closed areas. The designated lieutenant will make the determination and, if necessary, contact media relations for guidance or the DOC if the call is after hours. If a person who claims to be a journalist is detained or arrested, that person shall be permitted to promptly contact the captain or above for the purpose of challenging that detention. This shall be done by either connecting the detained person with a captain at scene or by calling the DOC for the on-call commanding officer assigned to the area of the protest, unless circumstances make it impossible to do so. One of our primary crowd control objectives is to restore and maintain public order, but nothing precludes officers from enforcing other applicable laws. If a person who identifies themselves as a member of the media is engaged in criminal activity, they are not exempt from arrest. The preliminary injunction prohibits LAPD personnel from using less lethal munitions and other crowd control weapons against journalists who are not posing a threat of imminent harm to an officer or other person. Prior to using less lethal munitions or chemical agents in crowd control situations, LAPD personnel shall make repeated audible announcements in multiple languages, if appropriate, announcing the intent to use kinetic energy projectiles and chemical agents. It is not a violation of the preliminary injunction if a journalist is incidentally exposed to crowd control devices after remaining in the area where such devices are being deployed and personnel have otherwise complied with the terms of the injunction, including providing advance notice of the intention to deploy less lethal munitions. The department understands that a well-informed public is essential to the existence of our democratic society. Members of the media provide vital information to the public, and the department has an obligation within legal limits to accommodate the media as they perform this task. By using sound judgment and working with the media during crowd-related situations, officers embody our core values of reverence for the law and respect for people. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there and take care.
So I shared the training video, which again incorporates everything that's in our e-learning and our roll call training, and just to demonstrate that through these training